We start with our feet close together. Right hand is a fist. The left hand is open. It represents force and softness overcoming force every time. We bow. Thank you for being here. And you can step out to shoulder distance with your feet. And you're just shifting your weight from one foot to the other. And you're allowing the hips to go back. So don't push your knees forward. So instead of doing this, I want you to keep the knees where they are and let the hips go back. So it's kind of like you're skiing. So really that's what the arms are, where the arm movement is coming from. The arm movement is because you're letting your chest go to the ground. Just like you're about to sit down in a chair or go down a ski ramp or ice skate or roller skate. So we keep the knees soft and bent, but we don't push them forward. So if I crossed my arms, instead of letting them hang, it's just, this is the motion. I'm just bowing and sitting my weight into one of my legs at a time. So it's like a little single-sided chair squat. Sounds like the orchestra is practicing next door. Yeah, there's a jam band that usually gets together. But because I let the arms go, they're swinging a little bit, but they're swinging not because I'm swinging them. They're swinging because they're relaxed and I'm moving my chest up and down. So spine stays straight, and then you come back to center. And bring the feet to about shoulder distance apart. Keep the knees soft and pushed out. So it's like you're sitting on a really small horse or a motorcycle. Then you're going to just turn the hips. So you're keeping everything above the waist relaxed. So you're just going to turn the hips to the wall and then turn it back to the other wall. And the arms are going to swing, but they're just swinging loosely. You're not controlling the arms. You're just letting them go wild. Letting them hit you wherever they want to hit you, but make sure your spine stays nice and tall. Also make sure that your tailbone is tucked. So important, don't lift your butt. Tuck that butt in so that your spine can be nice and straight. And then imagine somebody else is pulling you up from the crown of the head. And don't forget to breathe. Breathe deep. And slow it down and come back to center. So let's do a little bit of connecting with our breath real quick. So you want your feet about shoulder distance apart, knees soft, hips back, chest down, spine straight. So imagine someone's pulling your hips down, someone else is pulling your head up. The shoulders are relaxed and away from the ears. The elbows point down. So whether you have your hands on your hips or on your belly or hanging down, the shoulders are down and the elbows are relaxed and everything is soft. Then I want you to just focus on your breath. Focus on that breath coming in through the nose, over the back of the throat. Fill your lungs up all the way. And then when you think your lungs are full, drop the diaphragm, relax the belly, and push a little bit more breath into the belly. Expand the whole torso. And then when you're completely full, squeeze the belly, squeeze the chest, squeeze the throat, and get every little bit of breath out before you start breathing in again. So just focus on allowing yourself to breathe into your belly, to breathe with your whole torso. And scan your posture while you're doing this. See if you can find any areas where you're holding tension that's unnecessary. You don't need to be lifting your shoulders to breathe, so just relax them. You don't need to be lifting your chest to breathe. The chest stays down. Your back opens up. The Chinese say your kidneys move away from each other. And then remember, chest down. There you go, chest down. So we're not standing like this, we're standing like this. So big breath and relax. With each inhalation, get a little bit taller. And with each exhalation, soften up. Imagine you're an elastic. As you inhale, you stretch. And as you exhale, you just relax. So Good. Full body breaths. Don't lock the knees. Keep the knees soft. It's challenging at first. We say for the first 6 months, you're just earning your Tai Chi legs. So it's challenging to keep those knees soft at first. We tend to want to lock them, but we're going to try to keep them soft. Okay, and come back. You can put shift your weight over to one of your feet. The other foot taps, so it's completely empty. There's no weight on it. And then you do big knee, hip, ankle circles. So you're rotating in this joint, you're rotating this joint, and you're rotating your ankle joint at the same time. Just allowing yourself to loosen up. Try not to lock the knees when you get to the back. So if you're locking the knees, bring it closer so you can't. Yeah, that's how you cheat yourself out of doing something you shouldn't do. So, and then when you get to the bottom, reverse that circle, go the other way. So if you were going clockwise, you're going counterclockwise now. And you can do this as fast or slow as you want to. If you feel like this is over-challenging your balance, you can always hold on to a chair for balance. I would rather that you do it to your ability and do it correctly than doing it wrong to try to compete with everybody else. And gently place the heel down and the toe, and then shift your weight over slowly. When your weight is fully on the other leg, this one comes up empty, you tap it close to you, and you start on that side. Make big knee, hip, ankle circles. When you get to the bottom, reverse, go the other way. Reverse that circle. Good. I wonder if we can close that door. Keep going. So big. Thank you so much. Big hip circles. I said thank you. I just said thank you. Yes, please. So we're doing big hip circles. You're trying to keep your head more or less in the same place. And you're rotating around the hips around that axis. And making sure you're keeping your knees soft. So as you push the hips forward, you're not leaning. You're not leaning your back. You're keeping everything from the chest up still. It's just the waist that's circling. This is called circle waist for a long life. So the knees stay soft in the front and they stay soft in the back. And you're still trying to be tall. And next time you get to the front, reverse that circle, go the other way. Nice big circles. Good. And when you get to the front, straighten up. Step your feet out a little bit wider. Oh, now I can hear that we're playing music. So step the feet out a little bit wider. You want them to be 1.5 shoulder widths about. Toes turn out slightly. We're going to do a little bit of twisting. So a small amount of twisting. So important for this one is you're letting the hips go back. Again, you're not pushing those knees forward. So you're letting the hips go back and the chest go down. Only as deep as you're comfortable, okay? Don't force yourself to go deeper. And also, don't arch your back. Don't lift do not. Do not. So tuck the tailbone. Keep the spine in alignment. Keep the spine nice and straight. So we're going to reach. We're going to fold from the waist. Then you're going to and you're allowing the hips to go back. Then you're going to bring one shoulder, reach towards the opposite knee, and look behind you or look over the other shoulder. And then you're going to straighten up to the middle with your head, and you're going to reach the other shoulder towards the opposite knee. And then you're going to straighten up, look at the floor in the middle. Big breath, and bring the other shoulder towards the opposite knee. And back to the middle. And shoulder towards knee. If this is challenging to your core, you can also do this from a chair. We can also do an upright version. So you're just twisting and looking over your shoulder, and centering and twisting and looking over your shoulder. Or if you want more of a challenge, then you can bend over, bring shoulder towards opposite knee, swing the torso around, bring the other shoulder towards opposite knee, and come up. Shoulder towards knee, swing the torso around, opposite shoulder, opposite knee, and come up. So those are your progressions. You can pick the one that you're comfortable with. Then you can bring the feet closer together. We're going to inhale, raise the arms, exhale, sink, bend from the waist, bend the knees. Raise the hands up to chest height. You can interlace the fingers. If you have hand problems, you can just stack them. And then you're going to push. So now you are going to round the back forward. You're going to lift the tailbone forward and drop the head. And then on an inhale, you're going to raise the head and lift the tailbone and look up. Bring the hands to the heart and lungs. That's an inhale. Exhale, push. Imagine you're pushing away anger, resentment, negativity, and you're inhaling positive emotions, compassion, love, satisfaction. Exhale, anything you don't need. Inhale, fresh healing energy. Exhale. Inhale. The next one's going to be to the side, so you turn to the side and you exhale and you push again. So less of a tucking this time. Inhale. Over to the other side. Exhale, push. Still a little bit of a tucking, but not as much. Inhale. Is this okay on your shoulder? Okay, good. Exhale. Inhale. Over to the other side. Exhale. Good. And come back to the center and drop the hands. The next one is called Wise Owl Looks Over Shoulder. So fingers point, middle fingers point towards each other in the front, thumbs point towards you. And you're going to start by tucking the tailbone and tucking the head. Then you're going to twist and make sure you've got your knees unlocked, bent, pushed out to the sides. Chest is down. So as you inhale, you're going to open two faucets in front of you and you're pulling your shoulder blades back at the same time. Look over your shoulder. You're raising the tail and you're arching the back slightly. And then exhale, come back to the front. Tuck the tailbone, drop the head, close the chest. Inhale, open the chest, look over the shoulder, bring the shoulder blades together. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, drop the head, close the chest. Front view, inhale, look over the shoulder, open the chest. Exhale, close the chest, drop the head, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, look over the shoulder, open the chest. Exhale, close the chest, drop the head, tuck the tailbone. One more on each side. Inhale, look over the shoulder, open the shoulders. Exhale, tuck, drop. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Good. Shake it out. Shake everything. Shake, 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 shake. I know you're kind of sick of shaking, probably. Yeah, just like a dog. Yeah, you see when a dog is, if a dog does something or goes through something stressful, when he's done going through the stressful thing, he goes, and then he's fine. You see kids do that, you see cats, you see birds, you see all kinds of critters doing that. It's just adult humans that decided this is a weird thing that we can't do. But it really is good for your muscles, communicating to your body. Yeah. And slow it down. And let's one more exercise. Draw the hands up the sides. And you're going to roll the wrists. You're warming up the wrists now. So you're trying to keep the wrists as much as possible in contact with the sides. And if there's nobody who's trained, you can start thinking about this movement coming up from the ground. So in Tai Chi, your body is kind of like a whip. Anything your hands are doing, anything your arms are doing is really, it's like the tip of the whip. So your feet are like that hard part of the whip. Your feet are like the bottom of that. The hips are like the top part of the hard part of the whip. It directs where the whip goes. And then your hands and your arms are like the end of the whip. That's just an expression of what you're doing with the hips and the feet. So you can start to kind of see if you can feel this movement coming up from the ground. And when you get to the front, reverse. And Jane, you can start trying to think about curling the fingers one by one. You've been coming along enough to try to focus on that. So I see a lot of people standing like this. So everybody push your hips back. Drop your chest. Good. It's a very common mistake that beginners make in Tai Chi, and even beginners who've been doing it for a year, they'll correct it, and then they'll go back to that sometimes. So it's something I have to correct throughout. But you'll feel, if you're standing like this after 20 minutes of doing Tai Chi, you'll feel it in your lower back. So. And now we're going to turn, the hands are going to go in opposite directions. So one goes forward, the other one goes back. Try it. Even if you can't do it, anything in Tai Chi that you're like, oh, this is hard, I can't do this, try doing it. Because the second time you try it, it'll be easier. And the third time, you'll probably get it right. This stretch is for your brain. This one is to stave off Alzheimer's. And now that you got that down, reverse your alternation. Go the other way. It's like this. It's like this. It's just like this. Except you're doing it with your... Oh, you can. You just haven't practiced it enough. Yep. Yep. Tai Chi is a really good practice to help your body learn to behave independently, the two sides. And then push the hands down. And let's shake it out again. Okay. So everybody go grab a chair, please. You're going to stand in front of your chair. I'm going to show you guys a side view of what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 drills. Drill 1 is, this is going to help you figure out, get that muscle memory, get that, this is to give you mental scaffolding for the synapse chain that helps you keep your chest down. So if I tell you to stand in front of your chair and sit down in your chair without using your hands, so bring the hands up to shoulder height and then sink down into your chair to sit down. Okay, what did you all do with your chests? You all bent your chest forward automatically. Good, and just as you got up, just now you did this, right? So everybody get up. Okay, so you automatically sink your chest and push the hips back and keep the knees where they are. And then when you stand up, you automatically drop the chest for balance and push the hips forward. That's exactly what I want you to do. When I tell you to sink, that's how I want you to sink. Imagine there's a chair, you're about to sit down in the chair, so if I say sink, it's like you're going to sit down in the chair and then you stop. That's how I want you. So you don't have to stop quite that low, but it's that 1 inch. 1 inch, the first inch of starting to sit down in a chair. That's where I want you guys to. This is Uji posture. This is empty stance. Okay, now the second drill I want to do, flip your chair around, grab a hold, stand next to it. So we're going to do some ankle or hip circles. So you're going to shift all of your weight onto one of your feet. The other foot comes up empty. And you're going to use your big toe and you're going to draw the biggest, smoothest circle you can, bending into the standing knee. So big, smooth circle, feeling this the hip flexors activate as you're doing it. So I want you to use the chair so that you're not leaning. So if you're leaning on any part of the exercise, or if you find yourself leaning the whole time, try to stand up straight. So that's what the chair is going to help with. If it's too easy, you can let go of the chair, or you can just touch the chair with one finger. But the idea is to keep imagine there's a fireman pole going down the center of your body and through the standing leg. You're firmly rooted in the ground, you're firmly suspended at the top, and you're not wobbling. You're standing straight. Straight and firm. Good. When you get to the center, reverse that circle, go the other way around. So you've got some hip flexor strength. A lot of people struggle with this the first time they do it. Completely disoriented and uncoordinated. Yeah. Do you do like aerobics or anything where you lift your foot to the side? In the pool? So yeah, that's probably where your hip, I can tell from your movements that you have hip flexor strength. I bet you don't have knee problems. Yeah. So, should take Jane to your pool, oh, okay. Heel, toe, and shift your weight over to the other side. If you need your chair, you can still hold on to the chair. And then we're gonna repeat that on the other side. So, good, everybody's keeping nice and still and firm. So the idea is to trace the biggest circle you can on the ground with your big toe without wobbling, without pushing your hip out, keeping your body nice and straight. But still, if you look at me from the side, the leg that I'm standing on is still slightly bent. I don't have it locked, I have it bent. My hips are slightly bent and my chest is slightly down. And most importantly, my spine is straight. And keep in mind that I have an unnaturally deep arch in my spine when I stand. When I stand normally, I have a really deep arch in my spine. So if it looks like my spine is arched, that's just my body. We're all a little bit different. You're trying to get your spine as straight as possible. And did we reverse this side? Okay, reverse this side. So chin is parallel to the ground, suspended from the crown of the head. Good. And heel, toe, and center your weight. Good. You can step away from the chairs. Okay, so feet 1.5 shoulder width apart. Toes turned out ever so slightly. Knees bent. Hips back, chest down. Just like you're about to sit down in a chair. But you're not going to sit down. You're just starting to sit down in a chair, and then you stop. So from here, I want you to place your hands on the belly. Check your spine. Make sure your spine is nice and straight. Shoulders are relaxed. Chin is parallel to the ground. You can gently touch the roof of the mouth with your tongue. And then you're going to feel that breath filling up your whole torso, dropping down to the belly. And then slowly push all of your weight onto one of your legs. The knee points in the same direction as the toes, and the opposite knee doesn't collapse. The foot stays flat on the ground. And then when you arrive with all of your weight on that leg, relax and sink a little bit into that leg. But again, you're not sinking with your chest back, you're sinking with the chest down, like you're going to sit down on this side in a chair. And then slowly push your weight over, your hips turn a little bit towards the other knee, and you sink into that knee. You feel, this foot should feel more or less empty. You should be able to lift this foot up. You're not going to, but you should be able to. And then push your weight over to the other leg. Your hips turn slightly to face your knee, and you sink and relax. Inhale. Push your weight over to the other leg. Exhale and sink. Relax. So you can, if you want to point where your hips are pointing, you can, but you don't have to. You just have to be aware that your hips are rotating a little bit, and you can keep doing that at your own pace, relaxing into that leg and pushing your weight over to the other side. Paying attention to the difference between empty and full, firm and soft. You can think of the standing leg, the leg that's holding your weight, the full leg. Imagine it's filled with water. That whole leg is full of water. That's a lot of water. And you slowly pour that water into the other leg, but you don't want the water to splash. You don't want it to bubble. You don't want it to slosh around. So you're going slow and methodic, careful, paying attention to your body, making sure you're not creating any tension that you don't need. So if you feel tension in your back or your shoulders or anywhere that you don't need it to be, just consciously relax it. You can adjust your body to what your body wants you to do. And just start to distinguish between empty and full. Good. Very good. And this is your first fundamental of Tai Chi. Distinguish between empty and full. And the second one, move with the breath. So, congratulations. You know more now than a lot of students know after 1 year of Tai Chi, doing it incorrectly. And come back to center. Okay. I'm big on teaching fundamentals. I can teach you dance steps, but that doesn't, I can teach you the steps to a dance, but that doesn't teach you to dance. That teaches you one dance. So when we learn Tai Chi, I believe firmly in we're learning fundamentals. Okay. But we're all going to start facing that way, feet shoulder width apart. So balance your weight. So start like you're starting to sit down in a chair, so the hips go back, the chest goes down, the knees stay where they are, shoulders nice and soft. You're going to shift all of your weight onto one of your left foot. Your right toes come up, they're empty. That right foot's completely empty. You don't have to lift it up, but you should be able to. Now you're going to turn your hips to the front right side corner of the room, and your toes turn with the hips. So your toes are pointing 45 degrees out. That's 12 o'clock, where that chair is on the stage. So your toes are pointing at about 1:30. Then you're going to place the right toes down on the ground, and you're going to shift your weight onto the right foot. The left foot comes up empty, and it comes in and taps. Now your hips are pointing in the same direction as your toe. Good. Good. Everybody's good. So from here, remember those toe circles we were doing? You're going to make one of those toe circles. So the toe goes forward through the center, and then it goes out towards the side. So when you place your heel down there, you're sinking into the standing leg a little bit to place that heel down. But careful not to sink like this. Sink like you're sitting down in a chair, but you're standing on one leg. So the heel is touching the ground, and the toes on the left foot are pointing at 12 o'clock. And then you're going to roll 60% of your weight into that left foot. So when you're done taking that step, your feet should be placed about like this on the ground. So the right foot is out 45 degrees, your left foot is in front of it, and not on a tight rope, but shoulder distance apart. So you've got about a shoulder width from front to back, and then another shoulder width from side to side, if that makes sense. Your hips are pointing more or less at 12 o'clock right now. So if you turn your hips, you'll find that your knee wants to collapse forward. So if you keep your hips nice and squared and the shoulders over the hips, you're going to be in a good, strong position. You're going to roll your weight back and lift the left toes up. Now you're going to turn your hips to the front left corner of the room, or the ramp over there for the roller chair thingy, and place the left foot down. So your left foot is down 45 degrees. Then you're going to transfer your weight onto the left, bring the right toes in, and just pause there for a second. Your hips are pointing in the same direction as your toes, and your knee is slightly bent, and also pointing in the same direction as your toes. From here, you're going to do the big toe circle with the right foot. Find the spot on the circle that's the closest to that corner. Place the heel down there with the toes straight to the front. And then shift your weight about 60% onto that front foot. And you're back in this position, but with the right foot in front. This position is called bow stance. Bow stance is your fundamental stance in Tai Chi. You're going to keep coming back to it in this form. You're going to use it in every form that you'll ever learn. So your knee is directly over the heel. It's called bow stance because everything is bowed. My legs make a bow. My chest is down, so my body makes a bow. My elbows are soft, so my arms make a bow. Everything is bowed. So from bow stance, you roll back, you lift the right toes up, and you turn the hips to the front right corner of the room, opening the toes 45 degrees. You place them down, and you shift the weight onto the right foot. Left foot comes in, and then completes that circle going out, and you find the spot in front of you and to the left. You place the heel down and the toes point at 12 o'clock. and you roll into the left toes. And you're back in a bow stance with the left foot in front. Your hips are square to the front. Your shoulders are directly over the hips. Your knee on the left is directly over the ankle, and your knee on the right points at the ground. Then you're going to roll the weight back, lift the left toes up, and open the hips to the front left corner of the room. Place the toes down, and shift your weight onto the left foot. Right foot comes up, and it taps, goes through the center, and you find the spot in that circle that's the furthest away from you, closest to that corner. You've got space to the front and space to the side. You place the heel down with the toes to the front, and you roll your weight about 60% into that foot. The knee is directly over the ankle. Hips are square to the front, shoulders over the hips. And both knees are bent. So take a big breath and relax, sink into this posture. See if you can release any tension, anything you don't need. Then roll the weight back, lift the toes, open the hips to the front right corner, place the toes down, shift your weight onto the right foot and bring the left toes into the center. You can pause if you need to, or you can continue through. Find the front left corner of that circle, place the heel with the toes to the front, shift your weight onto that left foot, and your knee is directly above the ankle, meaning it's not collapsed like this. You're pushing it out, and you're back in a bow stance. Roll the weight back, left toes come up, turn the hips to the front left corner, place the toes down, shift the weight onto the left foot, right foot comes in, through the center, find the spot closest to that corner, place the heel down with the toes to the front, roll into the right toes, and you're back in a bow stance on the right foot forward, and toes pointing forward. Then roll back, lift the toes up, turn the hips to the front right corner, opening the toes, place them down, and now you shift your weight onto the right. So take a pause for a second. I want to point something out. When we're walking, normally, most of us, lift our foot up, and then we fall onto that foot. And then we lift our foot up, and we fall onto that foot. And there's a bunch of problems with that. Problem one is you don't know what can run underneath your foot before you fall onto it. And you've already committed before you're firmly on the ground, which is a big cause of falling for a lot of older adults. The other thing is you're putting an incredible amount of stress on your joints, your knees, your hips, your back. Everything gets hurt every time you take a step because you're throwing your full weight down on your leg. So that's the second problem with it. It's a big cause of knee issues, hip issues, as well as metatarsal issues, plantar fasciitis, all kinds of stuff goes wrong with this. So part of what we're doing here is we're testing where we want to step. You connect with the ground, then you place your foot down, and then you shift your weight into that foot. Then you pull your weight back, you lift that foot up, you open the hips, you adjust the toes so that you've got a wider platform to stand on, and you shift your weight forward and you bring your foot closer. So now you're standing, so basically you're making a triangle, and triangles are sturdy. Then you find that spot in front of you with your heel, you place your toe down, and you shift your weight forward. So you're not committing before you've touched down on the ground. You're pulling your weight forward rather than throwing your weight forward. So if you step like this and marbles roll under your foot or a banana peel for you to step on, then you can just, I'm just not going to step on the banana peel because you haven't committed to that step. Okay? So that's something that I want to point out to you. Are there any other observations about this? Any questions? We all kind of have to unlearn a lot of things for Tai Chi. So take a few steps back. Let's do that. This is also the foot movements for the first part of the form. So we're going to do that again. We're going to take 2 steps on each side, and then we'll do some side stepping. So start with your feet shoulder width apart. We're going to do it a little bit faster this time. Oh, the other thing is the Taoist masters, they have a saying that if you are walking in the forest, your footfalls shouldn't startle a deer. So if you're stepping like this, you're less likely to crack some leaves than if you're stomping around in the forest, right? So that's kind of something to keep in mind. So feet shoulder distance apart. Shift your weight over to the left. Right toes come up. Open the toes by turning the hips. Place the toes down. Shift the weight onto the right. Left toes come in and tap. Make sure everything's nice and soft and bent. The knees are bent. The hips are back. The chest is down like you're about to sit down. Left heel circles, toes to the front of the room, shoulder distance from front to back and side to side. Roll into that left foot. Knee is directly over the ankle. Roll back, toes come up. You open the hips 45 degrees. Place the toe down. Shift the weight onto the left. Right foot comes through the center to the front. Find a spot that's in front of you and to the side. Place the heel down, toes up. And then roll your weight to the front foot. About 60% of your weight's on the front. Knee is directly over the heel. Left knee is soft. Right toes to the front. Left toes out to the side. What's this stance called? Anyone? Bow stance. Awesome. Good job. Now you guys know about twice as much as anybody that's been doing Tai Chi for a year with a teacher that doesn't know what they're doing. Shift your weight onto the right and stand on that right foot. Left foot circles. You find that spot in front of you. Toes to the front. Place the left toes down, shift your weight onto the left, roll the weight back, lift the left toes up, open the hips 45 degrees, place the toes down, shift the weight onto the front, right foot comes in, circle through the center, toes in front of you, place the heel with the toes to the front, roll the weight 60% onto the front, roll the weight back, lift the right toes, open the hips, open them up 45 degrees, place them down. Shift your weight onto the right foot and bring your left toes in and tap. Okay, now we're going to do some side stepping. So from here, left foot comes up, it's empty, and you shift it. It's in line with your right heel, and you place the toe down, and then you transfer your weight. When your weight's on the left foot, the right foot comes up empty. It comes closer, and don't think just because it's coming closer, you can immediately do this. You're going to keep your weight on the left. You're going to place the right foot down empty. And then you're going to shift the weight over to the right. When the left foot is empty, it comes up, shoots out to shoulder distance. And notice that I'm sinking, like I'm sitting down in a chair to place that foot down. And then I'm shifting my weight over to the left. Right foot comes up empty. It comes closer. And I shift my weight back over to the right. One more step this way, left foot comes up empty. I shoot it out to shoulder distance, and I shift my weight over to the left. Right foot comes up empty, and you come in and tap. So now your weight's still on the left. You're going to shoot that right foot out again in line with your left, and you're going to shift your weight over to the right. Left heel comes up. You bring it closer, you tap, and you shift your weight over to the left. Sciatic doing okay? Great. Right foot shoots out to shoulder distance. Shift your weight over to the right. Left heel comes up empty, comes in, and you shift the weight to the left. One more step. Right foot goes out to shoulder distance. Shift the weight to the right. Left foot comes up empty, comes in and tap. Good. Relax. Take a breath. Take a sip of water. Okay, so let's do the hold the ball drill. So feet are about shoulder width apart or slightly wider. So the drill that we were doing where we were shifting our weight and turning the hips. So we're just going to remember how that felt. So you're just shifting your weight from one foot to the other, turning the hips to point in the direction of the leg you're sinking into, letting the hips sink back, and letting the chest sink down. Good. Now let's add some hands. So next time your weight gets over to your right, I'll mirror you guys. So next time your weight gets over to the right foot, you bring your right hand on top, your left hand on the bottom, and you're holding a beach ball. So I want to see the shape of the beach ball in your elbow. Good. So relax the elbow, drop the shoulder. Fingers are relaxed. And if it's a bowl, you can't hold it here. It has to be a little bit away from your body. Now, as you exhale, you're going to turn the hands as you're pushing your weight over. So when your weight's in the middle, the palms are facing each other in the middle. And then when your weight gets over to the other leg, the other hand's on top. So imagine you're literally just rolling this ball over in your hand. Inhale. Exhale. You can also think of this kind of like how you would turn a steering wheel. So that's kind of the motion you're making with your hands, except it's a bowl. It's three-dimensional, not a steering wheel. So this is hold the bowl. The bowl can represent your chi, your life force, or it can just be a bowl. It could be an imaginary bowl too. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want it to be is fine. And we're trying to coordinate. When you arrive with all of your weight on one foot, that hand arrives at the top. And when your weight arrives on the other foot, the other hand arrives on the top. We're trying to make this smooth and continuous without stopping and without any jerky movements. So we've got two speeds in Tai Chi. We've got slow for pushing over and slower for turning around. So I'm not stopping, I'm just going slower. If I throw something into the air, it doesn't stop. It goes up until it starts coming down. It's never standing still. It just seems like it's standing still for a moment as it's changing directions, but it's not actually standing still. It's still changing. Tai Chi is all about changes. So go slow. You can coordinate this with the breath. So pushing over on an inhale and sinking deeper on an exhale. And then pushing over on an inhale and sinking into that leg on an exhale. Pushing over on an inhale and sinking into that leg on an exhale. If you find that you're collapsing your hip past, control your hips. Keep your hips pointing in the same direction as your knees. You can also make your legs a little bit wider if it helps you. But we definitely don't want collapsing knees. And if you look at my side view, my spine is straight, my chest is down, my hips are tucked, my shoulders are down, my elbows are soft, both knees stay soft, my spine stays erect. It's like I'm hanging from the crown of my head. If you really focus on the breath and you really get the motion of the body right, after some time, you might even be able to feel like there's a real bowl between your hands. This is also a great thing to practice in a pool. Any of these exercises are great for practicing in a pool because you can feel that resistance of the water. You can't make jerky motions in the pool or you're going to fall over. And you have to move slowly and methodically. So try to get this movement as coordinated as possible, as smooth as possible, and as continuous as possible. Those are all fundamentals. I'm going to let you guys go a little bit at your own pace. You can close your eyes. Just pay attention to your body. If you find any areas of tension or discomfort, adjust until they go away. If you feel tension in your lower back, see if you can tuck your pelvis or release some of the tucking in your pelvis. If you feel discomfort in your shoulders, drop the elbows. If you feel discomfort in the wrists, relax the fingers. So just kind of scan your body. Remember to breathe deeply and see if you can find any tension that you don't need that you can release. It's okay, no worries. One day I'll have a studio where I can have perfect distraction-free classes, but this is not it. Be careful not to lean. So keep the shoulders stacked over the hips. You're just moving the hands. So try to keep so aside from the chest pointing at the floor, and turning slightly as you turn the hips. You're not really leaning to the side. Good. And yeah. So that's why I say listen to your body. See what you can do to make yourself more comfortable. Because we're not trying to create extra tension. We're trying to eliminate unnecessary tension. And you can, next time you get to the center, push the hands down. Keep your toes slightly turned out and keep your feet nice and wide. We're going to draw down the heavens 3 times because the class is over. So just like at the beginning when I said sit down in your chair, it's the same. The movement starts exactly the same. Then the hands keep going up. You can just bend the elbows to bring them above. So everybody else can raise them up above the head. And then you bring energy towards you and down. And you rise up again. Inhale, sink the hips back, chest down. Bring energy to you. Rise up. Inhale, wash healing energy down over you. Push out negativity you don't need at the bottom. Palms to the front. Shift the weight over to your right. Left foot comes in and taps. Straighten up. Right hand makes a fist. Left hand overcomes hardness. Thank you for being here.